Good morning. It's me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we're here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others and in our external environment. And if we want to make changes, or if we want to see changes, we have to make changes rather. And when you come here, you might be thinking about a person, and that's fine, but you're looking at your own energy, and the person resonates strongly with it because they reflect, or you resonate strongly with the energy because that person reflects it back to you, but it's your energy. And so today is our special day of removing obstacles removed day. And we're going to take a look at the obstacles for the feminine side of self, which is the feminine side in you and also the feminine side of your person, if they're a reflection, if they're a twin. And the masculine side of self, which is your masculine side and a reflection from your person, if they're your twin. If they're not your twin, they're going to deviate from the reflection in key ways that are going to probably eliminate them as options for you. And if they are your twin and you are meant to be in separation, they will be in alignment with the expression of this reading, but it doesn't mean that you will be in physical union because you are really just meant to experience the unity of the mirrored reflection together. Okay, so let's get started with obstacles removed. And we start with head space and heart space. Actually, you can start with masculine. Head space and heart space go first, and we're looking at the general energy surrounding where divine masculine is blocked. Shall we get started? Let us go. The top of the deck for the head space is the Eight of Cups in reverse from the Wild Unknown Tarot, and the Knight of Swords, using my brain waves, the Knight of Swords upright, in the heart space from the Prisma Visions Tarot. There we go. We got all of it out there. Okay, so what is going on? Let's take a look. This is the general energy surrounding where divine masculine feels blocked. He feels like he's having a hard time walking away from the things that don't serve him. This is the masculine side of self here. And if we flip the card upright, we see the feminine side of self. So in this case, we see if we're walking away from what doesn't serve us, we're walking towards the feminine, if we're looking at this from the masculine perspective, and away from the shadow traits of the ego, etc. And when we see it this way, I'm noticing very strongly that this cup that he wants to offer is not pointing in the direction it would need to go if we were heading towards the feminine. It's going towards the self. And obviously when it's this way, it's pouring out. So there's this card is, whether it's upright or in reverse, it's got shadowy elements here. But for certain, this is what divine masculine is blocked about. He is blocked about moving swiftly forward in his integrity to speak directly, to communicate directly with the divine feminine and offer her this cup of expression. And he's literally terrified by this experience. Like, he feels so frightened. So he's really nervous, anxious. He feels like divine feminine, when she finds out the truth, is going to be extremely angry. We could even see him being afraid that feminine is going to walk away from him once he tells her the truth. So this is blocking him. This is the energy surrounding what's blocking him. And the block is this. The Nine of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Wands upright. So the Knight of Wands is associated with player energy, inconsistent contact and communication, indirect communication, intermittent communication, ineffective communication, when it's shadowy. It can be about being very, like, a lot of sexual energy. And the Nine of Swords is about all the thoughts and worries and fears and anxieties we have. If it was upright, I would have just said automatically, oh, he's blocked by his fears and anxieties about, sweeping Divine Feminine off her feet, being able to communicate with her effectively, etc. But we know that the general energy surrounding where he's blocked is his fear of expressing to the feminine the truth, because it will make her mad. Like, there's a feeling that he feels like she's going to be very angry with him. And this is the block. So his fears about how he tore the relationship apart, how he tore his family apart, if there was a family that was ended, as we've seen in the storyline, there are masculines with past families. His fears and anxieties about Divine Feminine being hurt or wounded in some way. He's having trouble releasing them. And so he keeps staying in this, like, love bombing phase. So he's really blocked by this because he's been so worried, so afraid, so anxious. He's created this way of communication that is so limiting. It's like imprisoning him. And on the one hand, he feels like it's highly effective. He's wrong, but he feels like it is. There's this old lingering feeling that the way that he was acting before, it's safe, it's comfortable, and leaving it and going into the unknown, it's dark, it's shadowy, there's obstacles that you aren't quite certain about yet. So that's why he's blocked. Okay, so let's see how we can help him remove this block of anxiety and not wanting to tell the Divine Feminine the truth about his Knight of Wands energy. Where did this block originate? We have the Father of Wands upright and the King of Cups in reverse. This is coming from him knowing, because this is our head space and the heart space, knowing that he needs to take action and feeling emotionally overwhelmed. So Divine Masculine wants to come in confident, bold, in this King of Wands energy, in command of his environment, passionate, expressive, communicative. He wants to seem magnetic, sexy, and I'm seeing him like ugly crying. Like he's really afraid of being seen as overly sensitive, too emotional. The truths that he has to tell Divine Feminine about this Knight of Wands energy, the love bombing and stuff. He feels like it just makes him look kind of like, we're going to throw it in here, weak, which we know is a problem because we're seeing this patriarchal, misogynistic patterning about feminine energy or emotion being weak, even though we can acknowledge that the weakest masculines are the ones that are not in balance. The ones that aren't connected to their heart space do the worst things. They do the most violent things, right? Hello, Amity, I see you there. So I said this the other day, I was talking about Hitler and Trump and people that they're hungry for power. Why are they hungry for power? Because they don't feel masculine enough. Why? Because they aren't connected to their feminine and they're distorted in the masculine energy. They'll never feel masculine enough because masculinity, which we define with gender in our culture, is not defined by gender. It's energetic, and it is not just masculine. It is a balance of the two. Why did a lot of people really connect with a leader like Obama versus the reaction we have to someone like Trump? no matter what your politics are, and I literally don't care about politics. I think it's a fucking entertainment, literally. It's entertainment for us, while the very wealthy people control everything. You just try to be one of the very wealthy people and don't worry too much about everything else, okay? I don't know. Politics bother me. But it doesn't matter what the politics are. Just looking at those two figureheads. One figurehead had an emperor-like energy in its shadow, right? Because he was like, my way, I'm doing it this way. Everybody has to do what I say. Wah, 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 cry, cry, cry. And he was such a fucking baby, right? Like Trump cried because they parodied him on SNL. Are you fucking kidding me? This is somebody who has no connection to their heart space. They're incredibly narcissistic. They're super distorted, and they don't feel the ability to process any emotions, right? And then Obama presented as this like level, charming, sensitive, but strong, like, and his wife was such a big part of his whole administration, and we like really respected Michelle, and she was like honored, and there's a different energy coming from those people. Now, what those people actually choose to do with their power is irrelevant, and I'm not saying that one person is better than the other. I'm saying one acted like a strong man, quote unquote, as a gendered person, because they presented both in their masculine and their feminine energy pretty smoothly. That was a very comforting feeling, because the strongest people, men, women, whatever you are people in balance, okay? So this divine masculine has a feeling that if he did, because this is where the block originated, if he truly expresses himself and takes action, which he's about to do, that's why we're seeing him freak the fuck out, that he's going to appear weak. You know, it's funny because I could pull this Knight of Wands and say he's blocked because of the truth he has to tell her about how he was a player. But I'm not buying that. I don't buy that, actually. I don't think he's going to come in and be like, oh, I did all the, like this third party karmic stuff that we all see on readings all the time. We're like, oh my God, it's so irrelevant. I really see that this masculine energy instead is embarrassed of how he love bombed the feminine. He's not embarrassed of how he cheated on her or whatever, but he's embarrassed about how long it was acceptable for him to play her. And I don't mean like playing her like mind games, like so that he could cheat or anything, but literally just like, she's gonna think I'm ridiculous that I didn't do anything except for this stuff for this long, that I didn't take action in any way except to pour out all this emotional stuff. So now I feel embarrassed about it and childish. Okay. It's where, how is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? Let me catch up with these comments here. Hi, like, subscribe. Oh, thank you so much. So this is a collective reading. I'm not answering personal questions, but you'll probably get information about your soulmate from the reading. But the person you view as your soulmate is just a person, and this is your energy. So you'll know whether your energy is willing to come forward and come into union, whether the person you're focused on is. That's how this works. And if you need a personal reading, go to pearlsprayers.com, and there's places where you can book personal readings and ask me questions there as well. Okay, so this is hilarious, and I want to die laughing because how is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? The Six of Wands and the Emperor. Now, these are great, fantastic cards. It's upright, and I'll spoiler alert, it's already over here on the feminine side. So there's already that sacred union, right? The transformation aspect of this Six of Wands card is significant to me. But what's really interesting is this is often a card associated with public acknowledgement and reputation, okay? Who did I talk about as being distorted? I said Trump presented in like an emperor energy, right? The distorted masculine of the Emperor energy. So how is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? So divine masculine not approaching divine feminine with the truth is manifesting as his public persona is this one of stubborn, controlling, not revealing anything, powerful, wealthy, established, and just holding the like controlling the strings, right? Ironically, this masculine is actually under control of the feminine energy. Because if you're not working with something, you're usually fighting it, resisting it, and it causes you to do the exact opposite of what you want. So he resists feminine and then does what she wants. Where's the lie? Okay, y'all know that's true. Divine feminine is like, but he's not doing what I want. But you're focused on what you don't want. You don't want divine masculine to keep making you wait, but you keep thinking and talking about it. So he's giving you exactly what you want. And you're like, no! And I'm like, yes! And that's why you have to balance out your energy. So stop yourself from thinking about a person right now and think about how in your current situation that you're in, you're unwilling to walk away entirely and make yourself an offer, right? You don't want to be fully honest with yourself about how you're refusing to walk away from a masculine energy that won't walk towards you. And your block is because you are trying to handle how torn apart you felt in the past by this particular love bombing situation that is happening, right? And you probably have been just love bombing something in your life, but not fully committing to it. So there's a career, there's a piece of artwork, there's a, something in your life that this is where you're doing this. And if you think about yourself instead of your person after you get done with this reading with me, you're going to be able to finally see changes happen. Because when you start to do the things in your life that you are not doing because you're afraid of seeming weak or emotional or hysterical or, like whatever, addle-brained, whatever things that the feminine gets accused of being, then once you break through those fears and push through those fears, if your person is your person. Now, if they're not your person, do you want them to stick around? I don't. If you're not my person, fuck off. Okay? So if they are not your person, they will just fuck off. They can't be around your energy because you're healed and they're not. Period. And if it is your person and they haven't caught up to you, you have to stay in separation. And if it is your person and you've done this work and they've had the free will to do their work, then you can be in alignment, but it's based on free will. So it doesn't mean just because you do this that your twin is going to line up. It doesn't, which is why you can never wait for the twin. You just can't. And it doesn't matter if there isn't one person. So this is something I need to expel. Twin doesn't mean you're one person. When I say if it's your person, I literally mean anybody who's ready to step up right now. Because whoever steps up right now is your person, okay? If it's your twin, great. If it's not your twin because of what I just said, because they didn't choose with their free will to level up with you, they have still some other work to do and they're deviating on the path, another person steps up. And you don't give a shit because everything that you've asked for is present in the person that's reflected back to you when you're fully healed. Not even fully healed, but they reflect back to you the point you are at your healing journey. So look around you right now. Do you want a person that has the type of work you have? And I don't mean the same job. I mean, they're like, are you content in the work you do? Does it bring you abundance? Do you feel it's connecting you to a higher power? What about your passions, your hobbies? Are you doing those things? Are you creating things? Are you being kind and good to the people around you? Are you going out and having fun with your friends? Are you flirting? Are you engaging in sexual energy, 7:55 on the clock, that makes you feel comfortable? Until you engage and do these things, until your life looks like this, don't try to attract a person, because you know who you are attracting. You're either attracting somebody that's the exact opposite of you because you don't like yourself and you want somebody who's nothing like you. And then you're going to be dependent upon them to make you feel worthy. And that's going to create a codependent dynamic, which will eventually disintegrate and it will feel bad. Or you're going to attract somebody who's exactly like you and they aren't going to have their shit together. They're not going to be pursuing their passions. They're not going to have self-worth. They're not going to have. So let go of the idea that there is one person. There is not. There are millions of people that will fit with you. And it is simply you letting go of attachment that your ego has to what things look like on the outside that prevents you from being in a union right now. Now, you might be doing that purposefully because if you came into union right now, it would not be pretty. So there might be a reason why you got attached to this one person. That is usually the twin, but it doesn't mean you're supposed to be with that person. It means they're helping you learn this lesson so that you can be healed with anyone, okay? I hope that helps. So this is how Divine Masculine right now is feeling. The thing is, there's victory, wealth, solid foundation, stability here, and that's why he's scared, because there's no other reason, and Divine Feminine can see it, why he shouldn't take action. Oh, your relationship that you had is over, finalized, done. There's no more legal connection to that. Seems like you got a nice little break from work coming up. You've been love bombing the fuck out of me for a year now. So all things seem to show that you're ready to take this to the next level. To what level? The level I sense you're ready for, where the block originates. The King of Wands. The other thing that is happening here, I should also mention, as I touched that card, and I realized I didn't even mention it, the other aspect of the King of Wands is the jealousy. So Divine Masculine, his fears of Divine Feminine being with someone else or going to someone else or having someone else, this is another thing that is causing him to be afraid that he won't be able to sweep her off her feet, because he's been carried these feelings of jealousy, which is always about worthiness stuff. I see your 8 years there and raise you 13 because Friday is the 13th anniversary of meeting my DM. And that's why I'm not working on that day, because I'm either going to be very happy or very annoyed. I'm not going to say sad, because I won't be sad. I'll be annoyed. But my new puppy is coming today at 3 p.m. for sure. So I'm going to be busy either way because it's a husky. So I probably won't even be thinking about what day Friday is. All right, let's look at the next position. We have what will help remove this block. Wow, and why am I not surprised, Divine Masculine, that the Wheel of Fortune is here in reverse, indicating you need to make a change, and the Six of Pentacles comes out right after. You need to change the fucking dynamic. The lack of reciprocity here is glaring. It's staring us in the face. It's ugly. It's painful. It hurts. You want to know how I know you know that, Divine Masculine? You know. You're aware. That's why you're afraid to come forward, because you know how much the lack of reciprocity has torn up this relationship. But change will allow you to release. This card didn't come out upright. It came out in reverse, because it is something that he is realizing he is doing to himself. And the fear is that he will continue to do it. That's the block. I'm going to keep hurting Divine Feminine, because if I'm not good enough, how can I ever give her as much as she gives me? Now, his worthiness is definitely high right now in the masculine energy, which is why the time is nigh that he shall appear with his offer, which is why he's afraid. And he just has to change his ideas about generosity and benevolence with others in his life. This is a love you so much, but this is a selfish, very selfish masculine, and not self-focused, which is healthy. It's good to focus on yourself and your needs and take care of yourself. It's good to make sure that your boundaries are established and your needs are met. But when we do that without regard for the consequences to others, or without an acknowledgement of their discomfort. For instance, I have to establish this boundary with you because I am at a point in my life where I'm not ready for commitment. So I'm not going to communicate with you at this time, and you should probably seek another energy if you want to go into a union, because I can't give you this. I want to so much, but I cannot. So I'm releasing you at this time so that you don't keep giving to me. I hold you in my heart and I love you. It's so hard to do that. So I don't blame my masculine or myself for not being able to do that, because this is true for me too. I continue to give to somebody I know can't give back to me, which means I'm putting him in the position where he's always feeling guilty because he can't give back to me. So when I write him this amazing message that he wants to respond to and can't, I'm actually also hurting him because I'm hurting myself, and he will get hurt through that cycle. So he needs to change how he's reciprocating, the content of the reciprocation. A lot of that has to shift. Who or what should I release from my past to move on? We have the Star in reverse in the head space and the Five of Pentacles in reverse in the heart space. Yes. Keeping our feminine energy hidden, which is not revealing. So for a masculine person that has not revealed you as a feminine, if you're a feminine, that's the external version of what's going on inside of him, which is inside of this person. He is afraid of how he will appear externally. So he hides his feelings for you, which causes the imbalance inside of himself. So not only is he hiding you physically, but he's hiding his emotions inside of himself. This is also about being afraid what you wish for and being desperate. Desperation is not an attractive energy. You know that. So his desperation, his lack of hope, sometimes his sense of unworthiness, Five of Pentacles, he has to release this and bring the feminine into the light and out of the cold. So that means he has to bring his heart, his feelings out of himself, which results in a union, because as soon as he expresses what he desires, it's for this person. And the desire for the person is this catalyst for him to start to honor and elevate and respect his feelings and emotions inside of himself. Okay. What can I learn from this current pause? Holy shit. This is the Mother of Cups, the most emotionally mastered of them all. It is literally compassion, empathy, being able to navigate your emotions, being able to, being psychic, being sensitive, trusting in your gifts, your psychic gifts, all of these aspects of self. And it's the divine feminine. So he's learning how to become this inside of himself and have this healthy, healed feminine energy in his life And here's the Ace of Wands. He's literally learning that the purpose of sexual union, the purpose of being sexually attracted to another being, is the light by which your mission, purpose, journey, fulfillment is revealed. So he's literally learning that he can have his heart's desire, which is to be allowed to be emotional in his feminine energies and have love and compassion. Hello, Umair. How's your day? My day is going well, thank you. All right, let's see. We're going to go now to this next position, which is, what can I look forward to once the obstacle is removed? Wow, wow, wow. We have the Three of Cups in reverse in the headspace, the King of Pentacles in the heart space, and an extra card, the Two of Swords. So here's what I see. He will finally be able to make a decision to come into union, to choose to release any third-party energy, which in this case I don't feel is another feminine energy. I feel it is his work, career, ego, etc. He will be able to make a decision between heart and how he appears on the outside. His worthiness will be inherent, so he can finally choose to release any of the energy that's blocking him, which is what you want at the end of a obstacles removed spread. Okay, so we're going to go back and look at his sexual energy and his oracles, and we'll open and close the door for him. But now we're going to go over to the feminine side of self. Remember, if you're a feminine and you're here, this does apply to you if you identify strongly with it, but it's also the feminine side of your person. So you can get just as much information about your person from the feminine side as you can from the masculine side. Okay, this part is where we start to identify the obstacles for our emotional side of self. We are blocked in the action side of self, the head, the thoughts and our thoughts and stuff. We're blocked by our fears about ineffectiveness, immaturity, emotional overwhelmment. And so now we're going to see, well, what blocks our emotional side of self? Top of the deck, overall headspace, I'm using the Fountain Tarot, which always, this camera just does not do any justice to it. It's such a gorgeous deck. And the Star Spinner Tarot in the heart space. Now here's the Emperor that I already said was in the spread, showing that union where there's these intersections in self, where we have an awareness of the other side of self that's true. So Divine Feminine's general energy, where she is feeling blocked, is not surprisingly releasing her twin flame. She's having a really hard time not waiting for him, and just not trying to know what the plans are, not trying to figure out what's going to happen, not showing up at readings to see if he's coming, right? And I'm doing the reading, so I'm guilty of this too. But the feminine is very focused in her heart space on this masculine energy, and she's chafing at this twin flame journey that we're seeing coming from this Two of Wands. What is her obstacle? I'm so annoyed by this. It is the Eight of Pentacles, which shows a masculine energy working. And it is the Seven of Wands, which is standing your ground against opposing forces, etc. Divine Feminine is really defensive about her own work and career, and maintaining a sense of independence against her feelings in the heart space. And the way that this is manifesting, I wish you could see my face right now. I love this. All right. How this is manifesting is she's being defensive against the masculine, who she knows is working, okay? She knows he's working on his career. She knows he's working on this. How are you an emperor if you're not working a lot? How? If you don't know how to be an emperor, right? This is feminine. She's like, I don't know how my divine masculine is going to integrate with me. And the whole time she's saying that, what she really means is, I don't know how this boy I like, who I have a crush on real bad, is going to actually call me and marry me and make me his wife and put me in his kitchen. And I will then serve him. Even if she doesn't want to do that, there is this distorted part of herself that's still in that headspace. So she's like, how is this person going to do this? But what's really going on is inside. I have prickly head chip, like cold chills everywhere from this because I know this is so significant, and it's 8:11 on the clock. This person shows you your potential inside of yourself. So you're asking, how am I going to have this? How is this person, ever going to do what I need to do for myself? That's where you're blocked. And I'm chafing at this message because I feel like I've been working on this a lot. And I feel like, what do you mean? I'm so going to be able to take care of myself. Like, I'm an empress. What do you mean? But I'm still not seeing my person. So I'm like, okay, if my person isn't here, then there's still something blocking me. What is it? And it's this. While I'm waiting for my masculine to work on himself, I'm being defensive about him doing that because I'm like, he should be working on me in the bedroom. What do you mean? What is he doing? And I am actually also like not able to fully work on my own work. It's like I can't do my own work somehow. I'm like constantly having to fight off thoughts about him, whether he's working enough. Like, this is a big block for her. Let's get fucking rid of this block because I'm so acutely aware of this. Okay. Where did this block originate? Oh my God. Oh, bitch. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the Page of Wands. This comes from Divine Feminine feeling like she's not good enough. I'm a Leo sun and a Leo moon, and I just want to get up out this chair and walk right out of this apartment and all the way to the ocean, right into the ocean right now. Because how the fuck could a Leo sun and a Leo moon not feel good enough? I'm like, I'm the best. I'm the greatest. What do you mean? I work harder than everybody. I'm smarter. I'm better. I'm wiser. I'm thinking that. My Pisces rising is like, oh God, you are so out of control. But let's just have some weed and maybe you'll chill out a little bit. I'm not good enough. Something inside of you feels like your Queen of Pentacles energy is not enough. You need this person, instead of understanding that this queen has this energy inside of her. And when she knows she's got that energy inside of her in her heart space and in her head space, then she can have that person inside of her in the 3D space too. You know what I'm saying? But until she realizes that this energy is already a part of her, she's stuck in this dream state. She's not awakened. See how this is a little Peter Pan kind of sleepy type of a dealio? This is feeling like unawakened to her power. So she's blocked by focusing on this masculine working and being defensive against her because she's just not awakened to her true power. She doesn't understand that divine masculine values her way more than his work. Way more. Work is how he feels worthy enough to be with a queen he views as her own emperor. What does she need me for? Like, look at her. What does she need me for? How can I possibly make her better, right? That's the feeling masculine has. So how is this block currently manifesting in the 3D? We have the Two of Swords in reverse And we have Fortitude or Strength card from the Star Spinner Tarot. So let's flip these over so we can see them a little better. Two of Swords, we already saw over here. So there's another point of mirroring. This is the Standstill. Now in this one, we have what looks like a masculine energy, and this is a feminine energy, which is funny. Right? And this is really the standstill right now. The unwillingness for a decision to be made. And now Divine Feminine's like, Divine Masculine has to decide to come forward. But she is also not coming forward and making a decision about not being focused on an energy that can't be with her in the moment. So she's not making the decision to leave either. And she's doing that because her ego is very attached to what it will look like. How do I know that? Because that was what was currently manifesting in the 3D. The ego being very attached to their public persona, how they appear. And she is having the same energy. She has told herself, and probably her friends, about her person. She's planned all the future. She's got all the pieces in her mind that should come, that work out a certain way. And then it doesn't work out that way. So her friends are like, oh, did your DM do that? And she has to be like, no, he didn't call me yet. So now her friends are like, ew, what an asshole. And she looks stupid in her mind, right? She doesn't look good waiting on somebody like this. So it's really challenging her to go to the part of herself that needed the validation of the relationship, because as long as that base motive is there, there will continue to be a standstill. No one will make a decision because the motives for it aren't there. I have a friend who we decided at the same time about a month ago, probably in total is probably about 7 weeks ago, or 6 or 7 weeks ago, that we would do a spell energetically for followers because our Instagrams were just completely not moving no matter what we did. And I was like, we're witches. Why don't we just do a spell and call in the people who need our messages instead of trying to like post enough viral reels or whatever. So we didn't even actually complete the spell. We just started the intention of it and started to like collect some of the pieces of it because we were going to make little bags, like gree bags. And I set my intentions to activate it. And it's been just over a month, and I am already at the number I wrote down on paper. After a year of hovering at 500 followers on Instagram, my TikTok blew up. And then my Instagram has started to increase. And it's happened like really organically. And when this process was going on, I was talking to my friend and she's like, it's really working for you, but it's not working for me. And I don't know why. And I was like, okay, let's think about it. And then I said, well, why do you want a lot of followers? Because she has a different career than me. And she didn't know. She was like, oh, and then within a couple of days of having that conversation with me, and I was like, you have to know, like, you have to have a reason. Like, I want a lot of followers because I wanted the messages I make to get to the people who need them. I wanted to find people who needed healing so that I could work with them. And I'm a musician, and one of the best ways to connect with fans with your music is for them to know you. Like, and you know me from this job, I think. So I feel like for me, I had like a clear image. I want the people who would like my music, resonate with my messages, to find me. And so I was like, you need the same kind of a thing. As soon as she did that for herself, her followers started going way up. She realized that initially she was attached to just having followers, which is your ego. Your ego is like, I got all the followers. Like, right? Okay. Big deal. What's it for? Like, just so you can go jerk your dick off to the number of followers you have? Like, congratulations, ego. But the purpose of my friend's account is this beautiful thing, like transforming your space and the power of plant energy and all these wonderful things that you would actually really want people to have and share. And she does DIY stuff, helps people like learn how to really transform their space on a budget. Like, it's wonderful stuff. So once she really honed in on her mission, it picked up because it was no longer about just having followers. It was about giving something to the people who want to receive it. So Divine Feminine is learning this lesson right now in this current situation with the masculine. She's learning that she wanted a person for the wrong reasons. It doesn't mean you can't have that person now, but it means you have to, it's not like she was like, oh, well, I can't get followers now. I was like, no, you just have to figure out why you want the followers, not how it's going to happen, or thinking that it's going to fix something that's wrong with you. Like, those are the biggest things that happen that our ego convinces us. It's going to fix us, and it's going to somehow increase our worth. Those things will prevent us from being able to have what we want, because the universe isn't going to give us something that's going to diminish us. We've asked for an increase. We've asked for prosperity and abundance. So the universe knows that in order for us to get that, we have to expand into our belief of our own abundance, prosperity, wealth, our own potential, right? I see comments sometimes. I'll see it when I believe it. I just commented back today on a TikTok, somebody that said that. I said, when you can believe it before you see it, that's when you get it. And you can only do that by showing yourself, expanding your own trust in yourself. So if you're afraid it's 8:22 on the clock, if you're afraid somebody cannot commit to you, then you have to go home and you have to look at your intentions that you've been setting and look at the things you want in your life and ask yourself, I've been saying that I want a new job for 6 years, and I haven't really made a commitment to move in that direction because I've been afraid that I don't have enough education, or I'll have to move, or I won't make as much as I did before, or I'll make way more than I've ever thought, and I'm scared of that, and I'm not even admitting that to myself, whatever it is. All right, how can we remove this block? Hanged Man in reverse, and the 9 of Wands in reverse. Oh, wow. How rude. Okay. Here I am thinking this whole time that I'm being kept suspended by the masculine energy, and the universe just bitch slaps me with this and is like, you're suspending yourself in isolation. If you would like to come into union, stop doing that. Start seeing friends, start seeing other people if you're so inclined. But you're the one that's waiting for somebody to do something that you're trying to do for them, which is why they're not able to do it, because they are codependently waiting for you to do what you've always done, which is their emotional legwork. But you're not going to do that anymore because you clicked this link today and watched my video. And you're like, you know what, though? I don't want to wait by myself anymore for a person who doesn't need any reason to come to me than they already have, which is that I am absolutely and have always been, since the moment of my conception, and even before that, worthy of anything I've asked for in this beautiful playground that we call Earth. Stop waiting and you won't be waiting, and come out of isolation and you won't be alone. And you can only do that right now if you release your ego's attachment to this specific person that you've been waiting on. That's the only way, because if you keep waiting for them to bring you out of isolation, it ain't going to happen. I think I was waiting for my masculine I kept saying to myself, well, it's like he's going to come soon. So like, do I really want to get a dog right now? Because even though I've wanted a dog forever and I've done a bunch of research and prepared myself for it and finally got myself into a position where I can have one. I mean, what if he comes though? Like, and then it's like, now I have this dog and I have to take care of this dog. And like, what if he doesn't come and you don't get a dog and you're still living alone and you have no physical attention, physical touch, which is your love language that you've been denying yourself for the past 13 years? What about that? See how insidious that ego is? So I'm getting my dog. I bought the crate. We're going today to pick her up. I've been trying to get her for a month. The travel hasn't worked out. Picking up, dropping off. Like, I'll have the money and then suddenly something will happen. I'll be like, what the heck? Speaking of which, if you'd like to support me, please go to pearlsprayers.com. This is my gig. This is how I do my thing. I'm a musician and a tarot reader. We live on tips and gigs. So if you are so inclined, go ahead and book me for a personal reading or click support or send me a text. I do appreciate that. This position that we're looking at right now is who or what should I release from my past to move on? The Tower, the card of releasing. And, oh, the King of Wands. He's over here. You know that guy. Energy, not gender. He's the guy energy. What do I need to release? And then the universe gives you the card of release. It's like, you better release this. This is an interesting Tower card because we have a solid structure here and then this grotesque, like, deformed part that has just grown like a tumor, and it's not allowing this to be stable. So this literally, it has to go because this thing cannot withstand this. So the idea is you keep having these moments where you think this person is going to take action and they don't. And this is doing two things to you. Number one, it's keeping you stuck in place because you keep thinking, oh, this time he's going to do it. Oh, this time he's going to do it. This is me so much right now. I'm like, oh, it's going to be this time. Oh, it's going to be this time. I mean, it's got to be this. It's got to be. It should probably. Maybe it'll happen this Friday. So that's happening. And then the other thing that's happening is every time, like I just said, oh, maybe it'll happen now. And it didn't. Oh, maybe it'll happen now. Oh, it didn't happen that time. Oh, it could happen this time. Didn't. Maybe nope. You're holding on to those experiences. And if you're holding on to something and you're constantly thinking about it and you're like, remember when Divine Masculine was like, I'm coming, and you got all showered and you were like, he's coming, and you even shaved, bitch. You were like, you haven't shaved since COVID started, and you're like, oh my God, he's coming. And then you went to bed alone. You remember that? Yes, you do. You do remember it. And you think about it every time. And it makes you type comments like, I'll believe it when I see it. Which is literally you being like, I'm going to continue to keep having this experience because I can only see the thing that happened before and I can't see anything else. So I will keep believing in this. It's a long version. TikTok doesn't let you have comments that long. So just go with, I'll believe it when I see it. Let go of that. That's holding you back. The fact that I'm so scared right now. I'm terrified. This is me. This is me. So scared to really think that on this Friday, which is that 13th anniversary, the death card, transformation, that I don't want to think, oh, it's going to happen because it never happens. Ugh, I'm going to go back and watch this reading and be like, fuck you. Just fuck you a little bit. Why do you do this to me yourself? Okay, let's see. What can I learn from this current pause? And you got 2 cards here, so you were like, lots of things. You're learning lots and lots. Hey, look, it's another card of union. The 6 of Wands. And what was it? In what position was it in? It was the current thing the divine masculine is experiencing, right? How is it currently manifesting? Boop. And what are you learning from this current pause? Boop. Okay. You are learning how to actually enjoy the spoils of war because you fought a battle and you got all the prizes and the victory and everything, like all the spoils of war. They're in your tent. They're in your war tent. And all your people are outside of the tent. And they're like, dude, go get your reward. And you're like, I'm so exhausted from this battle. And like, I just don't think my reward's going to be as good as I thought. You know, when we took down that wall, I thought we were going to get this whole paradise thing. And it turns out this kingdom isn't that much better than my kingdom. And I thought there was going to be like streets of gold. There's no streets of gold here. And the people are like, yeah, but just go in the tent. There's like all this other stuff. Like they didn't have that, but they had all this other stuff. And like, I don't even care about those other options. I just wanted this gold paved city to like welcome me, and they didn't. And so now, you know, fuck them, right? So you're not quite sure yet how to actually enjoy your victory because you're still awaiting this from this energy, the magician in reverse. This is an energy of manipulation. It's an energy of being unwilling to co-create, just trying to do shit on your own. So for me, the meaning is you've been waiting and you've actually been manipulating, okay? You've been manipulating the masculine energy to give you what you want, not realizing that the victory, the spoils of war that are in the tent, that the soldiers are like, go look at what you got, is your own prosperity, wealth, abundance. You didn't need this other energy. You didn't need another person. That's what you're learning. And the thing is, you don't have to despair. You don't have to be like, well, great. I did this whole thing, and now I don't even get to be with the person. It's 8:33 on the clock. No, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean you did this whole thing and you don't get to be with this person. It means you did this whole thing. And if you get to be with this person, it's going to be great. And if you go with any of the options that are in that tent, any of the people that are soulmates lining up for you, because there's a fucking shit ton of them, you can have any one of those. It's just up to you to understand that you have this energy within you. You give yourself the offer. Very poignant thing to learn. What do I have to look forward to once this block is removed? The Ace of Cups. What is this? It is new love, self-love, divine love, and the Four of Pentacles upright, which is a solid foundation, an offer that you're finally seeing that you haven't been seeing because all you could see was what you could believe. Cool. Okay, I love that. Let's go ahead now and do the oracles. I realized I didn't shuffle my sexy deck for the sexual energy being blocked, and we can't have that. So I have to definitely shuffle this deck and get the cards for this part. So we need sexy energy for the divine masculine, please. Where is he blocked? And what will help remove this block? Oh, that wasn't very clear. Please give me a clear message. Thank you. And for feminine. Wait, is that 2 cards? All right, I'm getting it. And then this is for the union. Okay, cool. So let's go back to masculine now. This is the Slutist tarot. It's freaking great. My friend Cheryl sent that deck to me. If you want to send me a deck, there's a link below that you can click, or you can go to my website and there's a send me a deck button. And I would love a new deck. I haven't got a new deck in a minute, and they're so much fun, and you just get so many more messages from them. Okay. No way. Dead. Divine masculine. You want to see where you're blocked in your sexual energy? You're going to love it. The Emperor. Oh, you're very stubborn. You're very controlling. And you're very jealous. You're jealously guarding your sexual energy right now. I don't hate it. You're doing that because you want divine feminine to mirror you. You know about the other options. You know about the tent with the rewards in it. And you're like, Jesus fuck, I really need to do some shit so she doesn't get one of those other rewards that I know she's got waiting in the wings for her. And the second she stops thinking about me, they're going to step up. So I really don't want her to do that. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to be very much in command and control of my sexual energy. But I do have a lot of it. It's very held back right now. And I'm feeling blocked and like I just really need to let it all out. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So what will open the divine masculine up to sexual energy? Justice. So this is balance. Allowing divine feminine to have some of the power. It's interesting that the image in this deck is non-binary. We have an energy of a feminine that is sporting a traditionally masculine type of apparel, command, personality. And I think it's this divine masculine really wants to be able to open up. This is also, I should say, I didn't mention this, but this is for sacred sexual union. So this isn't just like to have sex with somebody. He might be able to have sex with people, but what he's blocked from having sacred sexual union because he's jealously guarding and stubbornly guarding his very powerful sexual energy. Balancing it with the union with divine feminine will allow him to achieve sacred union. And I think actually for this masculine, a legal contract of marriage makes him feel confident enough to allow himself to have sacred union. So if he's had any kind of karmic partners, it has not at all been sacred. It has all been just, getting your needs met. There's no bonding, emotional connection. Because he guards it. He guards the ability to really connect with him. That tracks. Okay, let's go ahead and look now at his oracles. Let's help the masculine remove this block of being terrified, of being honest with himself about love bombing, okay? About seeming like a pushover, seeming like he like is lovesick and he knows it and he feels it and he's expressed it, but he's ashamed of it. He's ashamed of it. And he's ashamed that he's ashamed of it. There's like deep layers of shame coming from this masculine. But he's in the light attributes right now of the nature child. So he's really in friendships with animals, communication with spirit. So he might be very much turning to a natural environment right now because it's feeling safe and comfortable for him. This could be somebody who does love animals and is seeking a lot of comfort from that relationship. I mean, I'm getting an animal today, so it's kind of interesting. My masculine is taking action. I got the car, I paid for the thing, we're going to drive there, we're going to pick it up. Like now I'm going to be able to have this experience. So the masculine in the same way, your person in the same way is doing something or having a similar experience where he's realizing his need for physical affection, for physical touch, to connect with nature, to honor his nature, to allow the feminine inside of self to be a part of his nature. He has 2 guardians right now. We're getting look deeper. And we're getting the retreat card, which is one that's like go on a vacation immediately. Now, for these to both come out together, I feel strongly that his guardians right now are telling him to look at a situation involving people outside of himself. He's only looking at the surface, and he needs to actually retreat from the situation or the people that are only showing one side of themselves. They're showing like a false side. Now, remember, masculine wears a mask and he hasn't taken it off. So everyone that he is friends with, outside of a very few exceptions, are likely also wearing masks. So there is a call for him to look deeper around him at his situation. He needs to retreat from someone, I think, who is not good for him, like is actually manipulative in some way or has ulterior motives. And I also think he needs to look deeper at his own reasons for retreating from the feminine. He knows he does it. He blames himself. I got like an, oh, it's my fault kind of a post last night. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel that way, but you do. Like I'm confused about why you don't come forward, but I also kind of know why because I'm a psychic, and I don't want you to feel bad or unhappy or scared or afraid. Like there's literally a part of me that's like, honestly, babe, if it's harder for you to talk to me, like if that makes you feel worse than anything else, don't ever do it. I would rather you felt safe, calm, happy, whole than terrified and awful. But I also know that if you just face that fear, 2 seconds later, you're going to be like, oh my God. Like, think about the things in your life that you've retreated from. And then finally you did it. And you were like, what the fuck did I think? Why did I think that was going to be so bad? Like, what did I think was going to happen? Like, it's nothing like that, you know? Like conversations that you have to have with somebody. Like, let's say you need to tell your friend, you know, I love you so much, but you're just really in this place right now where I see you kind of focusing on everything that's going wrong in your life and you're talking a lot about it. And I just intuitively know that that is not helping you. And I don't want you to feel like you can't talk to me about the things that are going on in your life, but I want to have a moment where we can acknowledge that, like, because you're talking about things going wrong, I feel like it's causing that to happen more. Like, let's say you have to have a conversation like that with a friend. That's a tough thing to tell a friend. And I'm up 8:44 on the clock. I would say, an expert communicator. So I phrase that pretty well. But for the most part, when you have to have that conversation with somebody, you're fearing that it's going to come off sounding like, can you stop talking shit all the time? I'm fucking sick of it. I hate you. It's driving me insane, right? So in your mind, you're like, that's what they're going to hear. I'm going to tell them, like, it's not good for me to be with you in this energy, and it's not good for you, and I want to take you out of it. And they're not going to hear that. And it's possible that's true, but you don't have the conversation. You keep seeing the person, they keep annoying you, you hang up the phone with them, or you leave the place with them, you call your other friend, and you're like, Jesus fuck, so-and-so went on and on and on and on, doing the same exact thing that person is doing, by the way, complaining about that person. You just keep doing that, and your other friend is finally like, dude, why don't you just fucking say it to them? I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's going to be so bad. Your friend's like, just fucking tell them. Because, like, I don't want to hear you say this anymore. Like, your friend's brave enough to tell you that. You've been talking about this for months. Just fucking tell them. And then you call them and you sit with them and across from them. You have lunch with them and you tell them. And they have a huge awakening and they cry. And they're like, oh, my God, thank you for telling me that. And you're like, whoa, that's not at all what I thought was going to happen. Imagine that, divine masculine. Imagine the times in your life when those situations have happened. You thought it was going to be so bad to do that thing, and then you did it. You're like, this isn't even, it's kind of fun even. Like, why didn't I do this? Right? Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. You're getting this again, so you're not quite getting this lesson. Let's absorb this, okay? Your own feelings of guilt about this to me, this card is attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation. If you can acknowledge that this Nine of Swords, these fears that tear you up inside, it's just calls for help. It's just the places that show you where you had some wounds from when you were younger and you just need to go and reparent. It's not that serious. You're going to be fine. It's just calls for help. Same thing if the feminine is seeming afraid, if she's attacking you, it's just, she needs help. She needs help processing an emotion. She needs help getting clarity or receiving information. Don't take things personally and interpret your own attack, pain, fear, judgment, and the separation that you're in as a call for you to go within and do the work that will help you fight off the behaviors that are stopping you from moving forward, right? This is divine feminine's block, not doing the work to fight off the behaviors that keep her from moving forward by focusing on the masculine's defensiveness. Stop doing that, okay? So, calls for help. Peace. There's such a weightiness that comes with the Holy Spirit for me. Being raised a Catholic and being told like the worst absolute possible transgression against God would be to speak against the Holy Spirit. There's a authority that comes with that energy. It's a tongue of fire that appears above the apostles' heads. It gives them the ability to speak in spiritual languages, to communicate and bring messages to people. When I do this work, it's the Holy Spirit that speaks through me, which is honestly making me want to cry because I've not really thought of that for some reason. I think of my spirit guides, but ultimately it's the Holy Spirit that speaks to you. So it is the thing. It's like the energy, it's like magic itself. It's what animates us. It's what causes the spontaneous evolution of a cell. And when it's here, the feeling, it's the closest you get, I think, to like returning to the creator when you achieve peace. Hi, Sunshine Spectrum. Welcome to my live. You're here and there's plenty of oracles left. It looks like it's going to be a long one. So thank you for being here. It's time to release negativity. Divine masculine, you know it. There it is. Release these fears, anxieties, and worries that are holding you back. Release the shame. Shame. I'm watching the series The Exorcist, which, okay, so the original movie is like my favorite horror movie, and it scared the living bejesus out of me when I was 15, and my mom made me watch it. And it scared me so much because I'm raised Catholic and I totally believe in demonic possession. And I had angel experiences and I had strange experiences growing up. So it just scares the shit out of me. It's also an incredible film. The cinematography was great. The script was great. The acting was great. It's just a good horror movie and it stands the test of time. So I saw they were doing a show and I was like, this is going to be stupid. And it's definitely a TV show, but it is actually pretty decent. And I'm surprised that they kind of go into the religious discussions that they get into in it. And I'm finding it interesting. But what I'm recognizing is that all of the demons that they interact with, the heart of every single interaction is shame. every single interaction, the way that the demon gets to the person. Like, think of all the exorcism scenes you've ever seen. What does the demon do? It finds a past experience. It shines a light on a past experience, something that's not brought to the surface by the person, something they're incredibly ashamed of. And then they feed them lies to perpetuate the feeling of shame. And it's the shame that kills the person. It literally ends up being what causes them to die. Think about addiction. Why do people remain in addiction? There's a physical component to addiction, but the real difference, like when I used to be treated, I was treated for a back injury and I was on opiates, and I used to have to go to a pain care medication program so that they could prevent me from being addicted to something that was addictive. And they would tell you very nonchalantly, there are 2 types of addiction. There's physical addiction and there's mental addiction. And supposedly this program that they were putting you on would keep you from mental addiction to morphine. But regardless, lovely thought they had. Well, really interesting thing is I didn't want to take my medicine every day, but I was required to. I didn't want to. I was like, well, some days I wake up and it's not that bad, and other days I wake up and it's worse. So my pain medication, I might have it longer than the time frame, or sometimes it would be shorter. And they were like, in order to be a member of our program and receive a prescription, you have to take these doses every single day. Okay, Pfizer, love that for you. Fucking pieces of shit. Anyway, regardless, they told me that there was this physical one and that there was a mental one. The mental addiction that they were talking about is shame. It's the mistress of addiction. It's what keeps you addicted. You're addicted to something, you feel ashamed about it, and then you feel bad about yourself, so you have to make yourself feel worse. What's the best way? More shame. So release the shame associated with loving someone. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead, Divine Masculine? You need to trust your intuition. You need to trust your feminine. She's over here going, hey, could you step up and lead, though? That would be really nice. And you just have to be like, okay. That's literally all you have to do. You have to be like, okay, I'm going to send her a message that I keep typing and deleting. Oh, here's one I don't get very often. Brown Bear Spirit. I really rarely get this card. Take time out. We're going to read it. This is from the Colette Baron Read Spirit Animal Oracle Guide. It's a really excellent deck if you've never seen it. It's gorgeous, and I really love what she writes. Divine Masculine, there is a time to act and a time to focus your attention on patient strategizing. The arrival of Brown Bear Spirit signals that you are best served by foregoing hard work toward your goals at this moment and instead taking the time out to meditate or just take a nap so you can refresh yourself and begin planning what you want to co-create next. Come to know the lay of the land as you contemplate and imagine what you might do in this vast space of possibility before you, and begin forming a plan. Remember, sleep allows for dreaming and rest allows for clear-headed strategizing. How might you become the person you wish to be and experience whatever your heart desires? Insights will arise as you explore the possibilities and begin envisioning your plan. Knowing what you want will ensure you use your energy wisely in the days ahead. Be patient at this time. Relax and be calm and peaceful so you can recharge. The call for action will come later. So Divine Masculine, you're afraid because you don't know how to take action and all. And right now your oracles are telling you, oh, if you want to remove this block, then here's what you got to do. The retreat card, which is like rest, relax, go on a vacation from worrying about how to do this thing. The way to do it is going to come to you the second you stop worrying about it. Oh, let me see these questions about addiction. What is mental addiction? Could it be for other drugs too? I want to know. My favorite deck right now is the Wild Unknown Tarot that I've been using here for the masculine energy. This one, I'm so into that one right now. And I love the Fountain Tarot, actually, which I also used. Usually you can catch my favorites because they're like frequent flyers. Shame keeps us addicted. Addictions forget. Yes, your addictions are not just substances. We make a mistake that addictions are substances. We also are really rude about it. We're like, alcohol is fine to be addicted to. Crack is not. Like, excuse me, what the fuck difference does it make? Do you have to have that thing in order to wake up every day? Do you have to have that thing in order to live your life? Do you do that thing and not do other things? Do you like spend money only on that thing instead of spending money on things that would make you feel better? Do you ignore people, isolate from them? Do you prioritize your addiction over, it doesn't matter if it's crack, meth, heroin, tarot readings. You're addicted. I do this for 2 hours and y'all watch it. And I am too. I watch tarot readings too, although less and less now because that addiction has released its hold over me. You're addicted to your person. 100% you're addicted to your person. So yes, addictions are not just the physical component of the addiction. There are substances that will cause you to have a physical reaction, like caffeine or nicotine or opiates, because those are just naturally physically addictive in their state, but it's all different. Sleep, you can be addicted to sleep, you can be addicted to binging shows, food, everything can be an addiction. That's why when people are very judgmental about others with addiction, I'm like, get a mirror, bitch, because there is no way that your judgmental ass is not addicted to something, guaranteed. That's why you're judging this person. So you're probably addicted to being a judgmental person. Okay. So Divine Masculine, chill out. Take a second. Take a nap. Rest your pretty little head. And just allow the insight for how to move forward to come to you. Where are you blocked, Divine Masculine? Holy shit! Yeah, oh my God. This is like literally the cards from the freaking TikTok reading, but it's like swapped. The TikTok reading was like, I think it was actually the 2 of Cups, and then here's how you do it was the 8 of Wands. Here's where Divine Masculine, the door he needs to open is the 8 of Wands, communication. This was the key to coming into union in the 2 of Cups in the last reading I just did. I think it was 2 days ago on TikTok. So Divine Masculine is needing to know how to open the door to communicate with the feminine energy. The key is so interesting because it would be the reason why you would communicate. The key is that he wants to spend the rest of his life with this Divine Feminine. He wants to be in sacred union with her. He wants to have learned all of his lessons and be able to be I don't want to say, masterful about this union. And this is also a card about authority figures too. And it's about God and tradition. He's like, how do I open the door to communication? Through this key of the Hierophant energy, through your faith and trust in the sacred union yourself. The Divine Feminine, I'm seeing your comments here. Divine Feminine and Masculine are inside of our own soul. There is no other when I'm doing this reading, I don't know your person. I never met your person before. Your person didn't show up at this reading with me. I'm not reading this person. I don't know that person. I'm not going to be a psychic that claims that I feel the energy of your person. I don't. There's 5 people here right now watching, and there's going to be over 100 people seeing this. So there's no way that this is about your person. It's not. You make it about your person when you get the messages about the energy that is currently available to you, and you find the places where they reflect back to you. But 100%, you are the masculine and the feminine. And once you learn that lesson, which is this card right here, then you come into a union inside of yourself where you don't need companionship because you are your own companion. And it doesn't mean that once you achieve this level, then you're alone forever. No, it just means that the relationships that you have ever after with your mom, your dad, sister, brother, friends, lovers, children, everyone, the mail person, the person behind the counter at the coffee shop where you go, every single one of those relationships is expansive, fulfilling, and healed because you are approaching every single relationship like that. And that means that if you meet somebody on your journey, or if someone from your past has also done a similar kind of a reflective sort of work, then you can be with that person. But you know what really is the kicker? You won't give a fuck if you are. Like on Friday, if I see my DM, I'm going to be through the roof. I'm going to be so happy. If I don't see him on Friday, I'm also going to be like, okay, bro, I know what is the what. And what is the what is that you want me because I'm fucking amazing. I know that I am. And there'll be plenty of yous out there that want me. And I want you because you're amazing. And you're always going to be amazing. And you're always going to be a part of me. So, okay. It's a bummer, but like, whatever. I'm going to go take my new dog for a walk and like meet someone else who can communicate with me. And you'll learn to communicate someday, and you'll come into sacred union in yourself, and you'll either meet somebody amazing or maybe we'll both be free then. I don't know. I kind of fucking hope that I'm not free then because I would really like to be in a union. So my hope is that this happens soon. But if it doesn't also, okay. I'm still fucking amazing because I didn't get my worth from you to begin with. I used to, which is why I was miserable for so long. But I don't do that anymore. Now I'm like, oh, I have all my worth I've ever needed. This person doesn't increase me. This person expands me. I was already big, and they expanded me even more. It was a benefit, but it was nothing I needed. It's just something I wanted. And I want a lot of things. You know? Harry Styles looking pretty good to me. You know? Maybe I want him now. I don't know. Divine Feminine, you are in the light attributes of slave energy. Surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust, which is absolutely what I have been doing. And it has changed my life. I got an energetic healing from my friend Kaylee from the Kaylee and the Canary Collective. I'll put it in the link below because she's amazing. But I did a shamanic healing with her, and she gave me a mantra that my spirit guides gave her, and she was actually embarrassed to give it to me because she's not uber Christian and she didn't know that I was raised Catholic, so she was a little bit hesitant. She was like, you know, if it's so difficult in the spiritual community because there's so many different faiths and you don't know if you're going to offend somebody so she was like really tentative. And she said, at first I got the mantra that I have infinite trust in my gifts, but your spirit guide stopped me and said, no, she has too many issues with her ego. So you need to have her say, I have infinite trust in God. My trust in God is infinite. And so she told me that, and I like had chills because as a Catholic, that had the same kind of power that the ritual type prayers that I've said since I was young have. And I knew it was meant for me to say that. So I started saying that. I started writing it just on a daily basis in my morning pages. And then I would just try to keep reminding myself and keep saying it. It changed everything for me. So this is definitely Divine Feminine benefits from surrendering this power of choice to the divine and just being like, look, I don't know who and I don't know when, but I trust that you have absolutely the best idea because you're looking at me from up there. And when I play The Sims, I can fucking manage the shit out of my Sims life because I can see everything. I can see every room in the house. I can see every potential thing that's going to happen. I can see if people are coming to knock on the door. I can see I literally created it. So it's my whole thing and I know what's going on. That's what the creator has over me. Okay. I'm the sim walking around the house being like, oh, look, my house. It's, really? You couldn't have done ka-ching for this one? We couldn't have a nicer one? What are you doing? Right? Okay. I'm that sim. I can't see the person walking down the street to knock on my door that's going to come over. I can't see the, fire that started in my basement because I decided to put a microwave down there for some reason. And then like the kid that is in the house that just randomly came in, set it on fire. What the fuck, Sims? Like, I didn't see that. Okay. But the divine does. And so you're just surrendering. You're like, I don't know if I'm going to end up with this knucklehead or not. So you take care of it. And that's a good thing. You are in the shadow attributes right now of the mentor. This is a key to my practice. I'm a teacher. When you sign up for personal readings with me, what you're really signing up for is a teaching session, right? It's a lesson for an hour. And my goal when I work with my students, and I tell them that right away when they come and work with me and my reader or my querents, I tell them, my goal is that I'm not going to be trying to get a bunch of readings from you. My goal is that I'm going to teach you how to tune into your intuition, and then you don't need me. That's like, I'm a healer. I'm not supposed to create people who are dependent upon me. Like, our medical system is super fucked up now because in the West, we're like, oh, I'm sick. And your doctor's like, here, let me make sure you have to come every couple of months and get this prescription refilled so that you feel better. But really, you just are going to feel worse because there's going to be a bunch of shit that's going to happen from this medication. Then I'm going to have to give you another one later. It's a good deal for me. Have a nice day. Okay. Right. And the doctors don't come out. I'm not saying every doctor is like that. I'm sure there's some shady doctors out there. I don't think that Western medicine feels that that is what they're doing. They are trying to help. They're using the best tools they have available to them that are being heavily manipulated by corporations. So they're limited by how they can give you health care. But for sure that if we truly had the goal of healing, you wouldn't pay somebody when you were sick. You would pay them when you were healed because you'd have a reason to pay them because they did something for you. That is not how we do it here. And my goal as a healer is to actually heal you so that you don't have to keep paying me. It would be great if you paid me forever because I wouldn't have to like find new people who need healing and it would be a little easier for me. I wouldn't have to like do all this grunt work, but like then I'd probably get bored. So thank you for healing. But the feminine is having trouble with that. She is having an inability to allow the student to move on to the role of the master. Now, I feel that she's doing this with the masculine. Divine feminine, you're like, I do not want to be controlled by the masculine energy, and I want to be independent. And I do not want them to have any power over me. And yet, you keep trying to heal him. You're like, oh, he would come to me if he would just heal. So I'm going to do all this healing work on his behalf. You came to my readings a few weeks ago and you heard me say like, you have to shift the energy inside of yourself if you want to come into union. And your brain was like, union. It's still about the person. It wasn't like, oh, union means I don't need the person because I feel healed inside of myself. And this whole time, this person has been eluding me because I have been putting my salvation in their hands and they aren't God and they're not Jesus. And so that is not appropriate, but I'm still doing that anyway because I was taught to by my people in my life and media. And it's easy to do. So now you're like, oh, I have to heal for my masculine. There's even a reader I used to watch. She's a lovely person, Twindy. But I stopped watching her readings because she kept saying that it was the feminine's responsibility to do the healing. And I was like, you better clarify that as feminine energy inside of self. Also, why is it only the feminine that heals? It actually takes action to heal. Your body has to send cells to something and do it. So I don't think it's just the feminine energy there, darling. Do feminines do emotional legwork for the masculine? Yeah. Are they supposed to? Fuck no. When you do emotional legwork for somebody, what does it mean? They can't do it themselves. So if you want to be in a relationship with somebody that you always have to do the emotional legwork for, by all means, take on the role of the mentor who never lets the student learn the lesson. If I don't let my masculine just be by himself and have to believe that I love him without seeing me be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. If I never give him the opportunity to be in separation from me, truly, where he doesn't hear from me, doesn't get to see me, doesn't get to be a part of my world, what is his motivation to heal? How will he do it himself? He's relied on me this whole time to keep reassuring him that I love him. And now if I don't reassure him of that, he doesn't know it. Meanwhile, he's not assuring me at all. And so I have to get my assurance from fucking tarot readings and my own intuition, which eventually I do. Because eventually I come into union and I'm like, oh, he does love me. And there's nothing about me that's keeping him from coming forward. Whatever is keeping him from coming forward is simply an external manifestation of his own fears and anxieties that have nothing to do with me. My anxious attachment is healed. And now I no longer have to engage in anxious avoided behavior. I am healed, but my divine masculine is not. So I'm going to still keep healing him. No. Let him go. Do it on his own. It's insulting that you think he can't also. You know, he's going to be fine. Joan of Arc is your guardian right now. You're a leader. Divine Masculine got how do you step up and take the lead with the High Priestess card, and you got you're a leader, right? So Divine Masculine needs to match this energy, which is what a feminine who has a sword. This is a feminine who is in balance in her masculine energy. She used her intuition, her feminine side, her emotion, her heart for her people, and she used the masculine side, action and leadership, in order to heal the community that she was in and protect and save them. So she was able to do this because she embodied both energies. And you are learning that. I recognize that I have chosen fear, and I choose again. I choose love. This is a big one. Recognize that you choose fear and choose love. Forgiveness. This keeps coming up. Divine Feminine. I always think of this as forgiveness of the self, and it probably could have to do with something, either the masculine energy, or it could be somebody in your life that you are having trouble with forgiveness. And the mantra that I got from Meredithia Crystals and Minerals, who's another YouTube reader, is amazing. She gave me this mantra a few weeks ago, which is, I forgive myself for not forgiving you. And with this, I forgive you too. That's an incredibly powerful way to do forgiveness work. And understanding that whoever you hold a grudge against or whatever experience still makes you feel raw, still makes you hurt. You're taking the poison, expecting the other person to die. You're holding resentment against somebody or not forgiving someone does not punish them. It is a very narcissistic thing for us to think that our withholding of our energy is appropriate punishment to someone. It doesn't punish them. If you're in a salty place and you don't have love in your heart for a person and you withdraw your focus or attention on them, you're doing them a favor. Until you have healed that part of yourself, coming and being with that person in their presence, you think, oh, if I'm with them and I'm mean to them, I'm punishing them. But you're just punishing yourself because you feel badly about it. They may have guilt or shame about what they did, but if they do, it's still their own shit. It's not anything you're doing. A time for healing. Divine Feminine is like, you're fucking serious? It's been a time for healing. We've been healed. We're healed. It will always be a time of healing. This card will always come out. It will never stop coming out. Your body's sloughing off dead skin cells and making new ones every second. Your body is dying and being reborn every day. So healing is an ongoing process. But when we honor it and give ourselves space and time for it, it's accelerated. The longer we resist healing, the longer it takes. You know, it's such an obvious thing. If you have a cast and the doctor says you have to keep this cast on for a month or else your bone won't heal, and you're like, all right, whatever. And you go home and it's itchy after 4 days, and you're like, fuck this cast. And you take it off and you just deal with the weird pain that you feel and you don't worry about it. And you are now in pain. Weeks go by, months go by. You go back to the doctor and you're like, I don't understand. This still hurts. What's wrong? And the doctor's like, you took your cast off. You didn't give your arm any time to heal. So now the bones have overlapped in such a way that there's inflammation and pain and a loss of mobility. So in order to correct this, we have to do a surgery, re-break the bone, reset it, and you have to keep your cast on for a month. This is exactly the same thing. You keep taking your cast off and trying to run around because you're sick of the cast, but you need separation. You need it. If you didn't need it, it wouldn't be here because you only get what you need, which is why you have to forget what you think you need. The initiation is in reverse. We just got this the other day. So I feel like this is telling us that we have actually crossed over. We have gone through an initiation of some kind, a painful initiation. And now we are heading in the direction of the next world. Like we're heading out of this dark world and we're heading into this one, which is transformative. It looks completely different than anything we've ever known, which is why we might not be quite aware that we've crossed through because it's so unique. Everything around us doesn't look like what our ego was attached to, right? Scarab beetle. Magic works through you. I forgot to do divine feminine sexual energy at the beginning, but we'll do it after this. All right, so the scarab beetle is... I don't get this message a lot either. This is the protection message that's coming out for this card. I'll flip it over so you can see the pretty beetle. Do you doubt your unique inner magic? Are you afraid that you have no originality or that creative juices don't flow through you? Perhaps you mistakenly believe you're not the creative manifesting type. Scarab Beetle Spirit's message is that creativity is a living force that comes to all of us from Spirit, who wants every person on the planet to manifest magic and co-create the world anew. You are as capable of resilience and innovation as anyone. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So draw inspiration into your being and begin to playfully create something new. And do it without any judgment. Creativity and magic are your legacy as an expression of the creator, so let them flow through you. So tell a new story. You've been telling the old story so much that it's your reality, and you just need to change it by telling a new story. All right, I forgot to do the sexual energy first, so I'm going to do that right now. Divine feminine, you are blocked from sacred sexual union, not just sex, but sacred sexual union by this energy right here. This is the Princess of Swords upright, which is Page of Swords energy. So you're not feeling very brave. You're feeling fear of intimacy. You've either never had or not truly experienced or very rarely experienced true sacred sexual union. And you're a little bit intimidated about the experience. You're afraid it might not be that. Like you're afraid if you do engage sexually that it's not going to be sacred, that it will feel, just like it always does. And so again, that magic card, you're like afraid of things being how they've always been. And this is about needing to pick up that sword and start wielding it, even though you're uncertain. It can also be that you might just be like watching sexual interactions. There could be some pornography going on here, and you're using that to satiate yourself. And that's keeping you actually from sacred union too, because it's very rare that we see sacred pornography. Most of what we see is pretty shadowy and filled with shame. And that's part of why it's titillating to a certain extent. And there's no shame, guilty as charged. Like, this card applies to me here. So I'm not judging anybody for engaging in it. I'm just saying that predominantly what we engage in when we are seeing or watching porn is the shame of it, the shame of the action. And that's what we're kind of addicted to, so to speak. So this could actually be blocking divine feminine from sacred union. Using your own imagination and actually channeling your masculine energy that you want to be with for that, and having a sacred energetic experience would be better for you than to have these very detached experiences where you're not really bonded into the sacred aspect of sexuality. The key to this, oh no shit, is the Ace of Swords. So picking up the sword, and it's no longer doing the thing you've always done before. It's not engaging in those repetitive old behaviors. It's doing something new. It's getting a little bit of clarity about your fears that have kept you in this place where you're just observing or watching sexuality and not actually engaging in it. And it's going to take some discomfort to kind of go in there and carve out the reasons for why that's happening and get clarity about your fears of intimacy. This will help you unblock this. Okay, and then here's the door that needs to be opened or closed for you. This 10 of Cups keeps coming back over and over. This is spiritual fulfillment. So you really are needing to learn that lesson that you can't have this material fulfillment until the spiritual side of self is fully healed and in union. And the key to it is the 6 of Wands. And that came out 3 times in this reading. The Emperor came out 3 times in this reading, and the 6 of Wands came out. And that makes me feel like, for many of us who are watching, there are people at different phases in their journey. But for those of us that are at the point of reunion, like where we're about to reunite, it's very imminent. For some of us, it's about understanding the masculine side of self, and that's what's going to happen. That's the union that's going to take place. For others, there is a physical manifestation that's going to happen now that your sacred union is starting to occur. Divine Feminine's key to her spiritual fulfillment is not needing public acknowledgement, which means she doesn't need what this relationship looks like to appease her ego. She doesn't need other people to see it happen. She doesn't need it not, and I want to, let me contextualize that, because I have issues with being kept secret. That's one of my blocks, that I'm kept secret or hidden as a person, like, instead of being like acknowledged. So I don't view this as her being comfortable being a mistress or being hidden or being secret, but being comfortable with privacy, and also acknowledging that her need for everyone to know about their relationship is ego-based. It has nothing to do with the union itself. It is simply she wants people to see, because she's very proud of her person, and she's very excited about the fact that she was able to manifest this. Her ego wants to receive the accolades of it. And if she can release that motive, just like my friend who realized that her motives for followers were not clear, they were not light-filled. It wasn't that she was shadowy. It was just more that her only reason for followers was just to have them. And that motive meant she couldn't get them. But as soon as she clarified the true purpose, the true mission, then she could have it. So the fact that you still need this, people to be like so like blown away by your success, that's holding you back. So let that need for that go. That's really helpful to me, honestly, because that's so true for me. Like, my person is significant in my industry. Together, I know we're a power couple, and that makes my ego does really enjoy that. And one of the blocks in communication we've had is that my person has not been able to communicate openly with me because of his reputation. which hurts me, right? But it's my ego that needs the communication, and it's his ego that prevents him from doing it. We're both blocked by our ego. So if I can release my need for everyone to know who my person is, because it'll feel cool, because it will, I can have it. But as long as that's still a primary motivator for me, he can't come in. There's too much pressure. I always say that was like, I'm like talking to you, I'm like, duh, obviously. And then I go back and watch it and I'm like, oh, gutted. Okay. You right now, I'm very proud of you both, because these are the cards. These are the final closing cards for the union. Finally at 150. Woo, we did a long reading today. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. You are no longer waiting for a knight to provide for you or being seduced by romantic illusion. So you, Divine Feminine, you're not a princess in a tower, and Divine Masculine is not the knight who's coming to save you. Neither one of you feels this way. Divine Masculine is like, she literally doesn't need me to save her. And Divine Feminine is like, I literally do not need you to save me. But you did. So thank you. I love you. And you did save each other. But that's not how you come into union. You saved each other because of the separation. The separation saved you by giving you wanted to be with this person so much that you went and got tarot readings about it. You were like, what the fuck is going on? I literally can't find anything in my material world that explains how difficult it is to be with this person. So what is happening? And you went and did the work and found out. And that showed you these wounds that weren't not just about this person, not even a little bit. They were deeper, wider, more powerful, and infringing upon everything you wanted to do in your life. And that person could never save you from yourself. So you saved yourself through this journey with this person. And that journey saved them. So you did save each other, but you're not dependent upon one another to do that now. Speak your truth. It was in reverse, which means you're not doing it. And Saint Bernadette is here to help you do it. She's not just here to support you nicely. I feel her. Look at her position. Bitch, speak, okay? She's here to insist upon you speaking your truth. And this is to yourself. We lie to ourselves more than anybody else in our lives. That's why we're so convincing to everybody, because we've already told a story and believed in that story. Hope is the conduit for miracles. The star card was in reverse, and so is this card. This is a wish fulfillment, but this is understanding that when we hope for something, it pushes us towards belief. Once we believe it, we can see it. Talent. There's a lot of talent here. In the collective in general, there's healers and artists and all just many, many individuals who part of this journey is about coming into union to be able to actually express the talent that has remained latent within you. You know, like the microcosm of this macrocosm of your person revealing you, you're revealing your inner hidden talents. So you're both very talented. It's likely that you are going to work together on whatever it is that you share this talent in regards to. You both need to balance spirituality and practicality at this time. So this is just the union balancing. Like you both need to come into union in self, and then as a couple in the physical. The ever unfolding rose. This is the most significant card in this deck because it says, remember that it is happening for you, not to you. It is our tendency to blame people for things that keeps us stuck because we do not learn our lessons. And you need to understand that the obstacles that are happening are for you to grow and expand. Seahorse spirit, watch and wait. I hate this card. But the message for this is the protection message for it. This is Hanged Man energy in reverse, which we also got for the feminine. And I don't hate it, actually. I shouldn't say I hate it. And the protection message is really profound. Are you holding on to judgment, sure that your perspective is the only correct way to look at things? There are as many perspectives as there are creatures in the sea. And when Seahorse Spirit appears, you are reminded to detach from the experience so you can view it from more than one angle. Pay attention to your hidden beliefs and how they affect the way you think, feel, and act. Are you being fair to all involved, or do you need to step back? Perhaps the drama you have been drawn into is your own. Whatever the actions of others, your challenge is to be non-reactive and not take their words or behaviors personally. Their turbulence may have little to do with you, so remain neutral until you know more. Your perspective may be quite different in time. This is profound because this is this tendency you have to misunderstand one another, interpret each other's, moods and temperaments, because you're not communicating directly. You are paying attention to those subtle notes, right? Moods, temperament, body language, those that are watching social media, like how you're appearing on social media, etc., and then gathering information this way without having direct communication. It's very limiting. It's like a lot of my messages I know are misinterpreted by my masculine energy for sure. And there's nothing I can do to correct it because we don't have any communication. So keep in mind that the things that your person is doing, just don't take them personally, because you really don't have the full perspective on what's going on. Like, I did not understand anything my masculine was doing for a year. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this crazy ass person? And then, like, his actual divorce was finalized. And I didn't know that was going on. I actually didn't know when it happened because I wasn't told. So there were weeks when I had no idea. And I was still like, what the hell? And then once I realized that was still going on, I was like, oh, well, he couldn't have come into union with me or offered me anything during that time. So that's why he was acting so crazy. How much easier would it have been to get me that message? Like, I'm still going through this. I don't want to take you through this. And I love you, but I don't want to do this. Because I love you, I don't want you to go through this with me. And it would be not safe for me. And it would not work out for me if that happened. He had his reasons. Whether they were good or not, it doesn't matter. But if I had known them, I would have been like, okay. Because as soon as I found that out, I got that perspective. I was like, oh, well, it makes more sense now. But also, I don't care about this. Like, I wouldn't have cared. If you were like, hey, I need to wait for this to be done, I would have been like, okay, I have shit to do too. So just don't take things personally when you're waiting and watching the other person. Okay, for the union, this is what's blocking the two of you from sacred sexual union. I cannot make it up. Reciprocating. The 6 of coins. You are not reciprocating with each other. So because you are not reciprocating, you can't come into a sexual union. The key is to make a decision. Just choose. I also love this card. It's 2 of Swords. It's the greatest. This deck is amazing. It's to stop waiting, to actually make a decision. Stop being self-absorbed and actually give to your person and receive. This will open up this sacred union for the two of you. And why am I not surprised that this is the door that needs to be opened? The 5 of Pentacles. You are feeling broken down. You're feeling like you don't have a lot to offer, like you're not good enough, like the situation is lacking affection, communication, all of those things. And the key to opening it is this Page of Cups, which is this individual who's divining. He's looking for his emotions to be able to find a wellspring of them to satiate his thirst, right? That's usually what we're thinking if you're in a desert and you're looking for water. But this is about apologies. It's about true love. It's about following your heart. And that's the key for you to come out of the cold and be with one another. Leave that Five of Pentacles. You need to follow your heart, which will lead you where? To the divine feminine integration. That is all she wrote. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was lovely to see so many people and who liked while they were here. I do appreciate likes, subscriptions. Pearlsprayers.com, book a reading there. Please support me if you enjoyed this 2-hour reading that you just got, really deep about your person. You can send gratuities. You can buy me a deck. You can just book a custom reading. Thank you so much. Go listen to my music, also Pearl and the Prayers. It's Me, Babe just came out at the end of July. I'm feeling very about my music. Honestly, it's really hard for me to be upbeat about it. I postponed studio time for it because I feel like I released it into a void, and that was my biggest fear. So I'm having a hard time with it. So the more of you who listen to it and share it with people and it gets heard, I would appreciate that so much because I'm feeling so sad about it because it's an amazing piece of music and there's more and I don't want them to be lost. So please go check them out. Thank you very much. Hey there, Mo Money. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here today. I will see everybody. I'm actually likely going to be doing the release and rebuild spread tomorrow morning instead of Friday this week because I'm taking Friday and Saturday off. I might still be on TikTok, but I really don't know if I will or not. So for sure, if you want to see me again this week, come tomorrow morning, sometime between 7 and 9 a.m. Pacific time. I will be doing this reading or reading like this. And then again, I'll be back on Sunday with Gray Strega. I think we're doing noon Eastern Standard Time. Not sure. I have to double check that. So stay tuned to my stories. I will see you over on TikTok. I'm probably going to do some free readings today. And my puppy's coming. So tomorrow morning, I don't know what the reading's going to be like because there's going to be a 4-month-old husky in the apartment with me. So I don't know. Tomorrow could be a very interesting work day for me. But take care, everyone. And thanks again for being here. I will see you tomorrow.